everybody. Welcome into Primetime Pregame. I'm Katie Mox. Happy Friday. Tonight we're going to cover everything from the NFL to Week 0, along with best bets in the major and some CFB futures to make or miss the playoffs. But we're going to start with some trouble in Jerry world. That's right. No money, no Micah. That's the drama in Dallas right now. Micah Parsons has scrubbed the Cowboys from his socials after his agent rejected Jerry Jones' record-setting offer in brutal fashion. But with trade rumors swirling, Parsons hasn't hit the practice field, leaving the Cowboys opener against Philly under a cloud of uncertainty. And with that, welcome in our Cowboys insider for CBS Sports, Garrett Podell, to shed some light on what is going on here in the Big D. And I know that you're there in the media box right now. So we got to talk about the biggest news of the day. The Micah Parsons saga just keeps twisting here. Jerry Jones says that he planned to make him the highest paid non-quarterback in the league. And while Parsons hasn't practiced, he has been doing drills. So Jones says he expects him out there for week 1. What's your read on this whole situation?
Yeah, Katie, it's a complicated situation, and I'll take us back to March because that's where I feel like kind of the disconnect began to occur between Jerry Jones and Micah Parsons. So they had a meeting, and Micah interpreted that meeting to be about leadership, and he's now going to be the voice of the defense in that locker room following DeMarcus Lawrence's departure to the Seattle Seahawks in free agency. Jones started throwing out contract terms to Parsons, numbers, guarantees, some of the things you mentioned, highest paid non-quarterback. And Micah, played along. He thought this was unofficial, so he'll give his opinion and feedback on it. But then he said, I'm going to take it to my agent, David Mulligetta. We'll loop him in, and we'll figure this out. Jerry viewed that as official negotiations and basically wanted Micah to sign or come close to signing what they discussed on the dotted line shortly after that. Micah said, no, I need my agent. And per the collective bargaining agreement, an agent needs to be a part of the negotiating process. And so because of that, Jerry's feelings are hurt. Micah's feelings are hurt because he kind of feels manipulated. Jerry says, well, that's just how I do business. And so here we are. And I think it's very interesting to kind of point out Dak Prescott last year, CeeDee Lamb last year. They went through this and got deals done. But what Dak said when I was out at training camp is he never discussed numbers with Jerry. He said, if you have business to talk about, you're going to have to talk to my agent, Todd France. And they talked about all other things under the sun. But since Parsons stepped his foot into the numbers pile, it's gotten a little sticky. So the two sides, someone's going to have to break the ice and reach out to the other to pick conversations back up just 2 weeks before the Eagles opener on September 4th. And we'll see which one wants to be the bigger man here.
Yeah, we'll see which one wants to be the bigger man. It's not usually Jerry Jones, but I did appreciate how you threw an accent on, well, that's just the way I do business. Pivoting here now, Joe Milton does get the start tonight, and it's been a bit of a roller coaster for him this preseason. How critical is his performance to hold the backup job here? And do you think that the Cowboys can adjust the offense to fit his strengths?
Katie, I do think it's critical that Joe Milton play a much better game today than he has in his first 2 at the Rams and against the Ravens here a week ago. I mean, Milton himself has said, I'll grade myself a D or a D- for his 2 performances this preseason. And, you ask about changing the offense. The offense is going to stay the same, but what is going to change is his footwork. And speaking to head coach Brian Schottenheimer, he said, I'm a ground up guy in terms of how I coach players, not just quarterbacks, but all positions. And a few years ago in 2023, when Mike McCarthy took the play calling reins over and Schottenheimer became the non-play calling OC, the route concepts began being tied to the quarterback's footwork. So by the time a quarterback comes out of his drop, the receivers should be in the right spot to where he can then release the football. And so what Schottenheimer said is Milton's kind of been a little sloppy with his footwork, maybe kind of gone a little too quickly through it to where, okay, now Milton feels like I'm really early, and then he waits, and then he feels like, it's too late. And then he rifles it in there and it goes 100 miles an hour. And you've seen some people complain about Joe Milton maybe not having touch on his throws. And Milton kind of pushed back to me on the notion that he throws the ball too hard. But he did agree that, look, I've got to time my feet to the routes. And when your feet are working the right way, they'll tell you what your eyes need to see. That's what he told me. So it's going to be more about, can Joe Milton get his footwork down? And if he does, perhaps he can play a lot better.
Okay, so hopefully he gets that footwork down. Let's pick this up a little bit, Garrett, right? One thing that fans are excited about, it is rookie Jaydon Blue making his debut. What stands out about him as a playmaker, and how does he add to an already explosive Cowboys offense?
Well, when speaking to VP of Player Personnel Will McClay on draft day about Jaydon Blue, he used the adjective explosive not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, 5 times when talking about what Jaydon Blue can bring to the offense. That's because he's got 4.38 speed. That was his 40-yard dash time, the second fastest of any running back at the NFL Scouting Combine this year. And he's somebody who can catch the ball out of the backfield. And even though he's 5'9", 196 pounds, undersized for an NFL bell cow running back, they've been impressed about his ability to run between the tackles. That's something that I was told by running back coach Derek Foster out in Oxnard. So he's somebody who has electrifying speed and someone they definitely want to get touches for because of that game-breaking athleticism.
All right, defensively, cornerback is a spot to watch here, Garrett. You got Deron Bland and Kaiir Elam expected to start, and Trayvon Diggs working back. What's your sense of this group, and who should we keep an eye on tonight?
That's a good question. And I think kind of the big hole here is the departure of slot corner Jordan Lewis, who had held down that role for a number of years. Now he's a Jacksonville Jag. So the big question is, what's kind of going to be the alignment? Deron Bland began his career in 2022 as the nickel corner, filling in when Lewis got hurt. Bland had 5 interceptions that year as an outside corner in 2023, a league-leading 9, and really broke out. Kaiir Elam, who you mentioned, who has been kind of one of the most consistent and best training camp performers this year, come over from a trade with the Buffalo Bills in the spring. He's more of an outside corner. So it's who's going to play the slot when Diggs comes back. Is it going to be Bland? Or maybe there's a couple guys playing tonight. Kamon Hall, a 4-year veteran who's bounced around to a few teams, or undrafted rookie Zion Childress out of Kentucky. They're going to be competing for that spot. They've both rotated into that nickel spot in practice. So watching those two in their reps, that's going to be something to look out for tonight because, yeah, when Trayvon Diggs gets back, maybe one of those guys, Hall and Childress, aren't on the field. But for now, and entering week 1, there's no timetable on Diggs. Brian Schottenheimer said he's doing great with his rehab, wouldn't put a timetable. So one of those guys, Hall or Childress, they'll probably have to be on the field in week 1.
Okay, we'll have to wait to see how that turns out. Garrett, as always, thank you for your time. We appreciate you. Let's take a look at the Friday preseason schedule in the NFL. You got the Eagles taking on the Jets, the Vikings at the Titans, Falcons at Cowboys. That's where Garrett is right now, that one at 8 Eastern. And then the Bears are at the Chiefs. That is a pretty high total there, 42.5. And there's plenty more action still ahead. And if you're hunting for value, don't go anywhere. Up next, it is Diamond Wagers. Mike and Larry bring you their best bets for the early slate. Stick around.